I'm only happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it's complicated.
Hey everyone, back for another review. Today we're going to do... Oh, fuck. Why? Yeah. Let's get through this really quickly. That way you know what to dislike about this review, and that way I can get over the fact that I actually saw this movie. Latest Marvel movie, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the story of how Captain Marvel, who is a Kree soldier, is fighting a war against this other alien group called the Skrulls. She can't remember where she came from. She has ideas. She's coached by Jude saying, you need to control yourself. And by the end of the movie, she learns to be human. This movie's bad. This movie's boring. It's uneventful. It's not funny even when it tries. And it's just this slog of a movie. Like, there's not a lot of fun with it. They try to have fun at various points. But I was just sitting there going, can this... The problem with this movie, story structure-wise, is the fact that it's a movie where the main character has no memories. So half the time you have to sit there with this blank slate character as she tries to reconnect her thoughts. Also, at the same time, she's trying to investigate this army on a new planet, so it's a fish out of water. It's I don't have any memories. And then there's the Mission Impossible part of it where it's like, who can I trust and who's on whose side and who's telling the truth. And this movie doesn't carry it well because its major issue is the fact that Brie Larson is boring in this movie. I said it. She was boring. She looks as uninterested in the poster as she does in the movie. And I get what they're going for in the movie, as Jude continuously beats her over the head with the fact that, oh, you have to be able to be in control. You can't have emotions. But she also looks disinterested the whole movie. The only good parts of the movie with Brie Larson are the parts where she's speaking with a friend of hers from Earth in her past life. Matter of fact, that actress was really good, her best friend. That was pretty good. The rest of it was really lifeless, though. Mendelsohn is in this movie, and he's okay. It's nice to see he's playing against his usual type. I won't go into spoilers here, so do with that what you will. Jude was okay as the person who was training Carol, Captain Marvel. But this movie is just like, it has so many things where it needed someone to carry the movie. And Brie Larson clearly wasn't up to it. She looked as disinterested in this movie as she did in the trailer for the end of Avengers Endgame. There's no other way to say it. She was boring. Let's talk about the effects in this movie. Near the end, there's a fight scene that takes place completely in space. And it looks bad. It looked like a video game. And I was just sitting there going, I don't know what's taking me out of this scene, but maybe it's because it looks fake as shit. There's also a fight scene for all the people who complained about the Kessel Run in Solo, a Star Wars movie, or the mine scene. There's a scene in this movie where Captain Marvel has to fight a bunch of people in a spaceship in a dark room that's only lit by like a blue lava lamp in the background. And I couldn't tell one person from the next. I couldn't tell Captain Marvel from anyone else in that scene. I don't care about the there is an overabundance of saying, oh yeah, look at me, I'm a woman, I'm strong. That movie, if this movie would have been the slightest bit interesting, maybe I would have had an issue with it, but I didn't here. Because the movie was so disinteresting. It was boring. Nick Fury is in this movie to be a complete moron and to be a goof, which kind of feels like a betrayal of his character, but I guess you can get away with the fact that this is taking place not in the 2000s when we first see him with Iron Man. It's taking place in the 90s, so I guess he's supposed to be growing into his role. I thought Samuel L. Jackson was fine. I thought his CGI was wonky. At times I couldn't tell if that was him. He looked less real at times in this movie than Phil Phillips did in Happy Time Murders. There were times where I was like, wait, he can't be the same person in the other shot. Like, it wasn't just his face, it was like his body for some reason looked faked a lot of the time. At the very beginning of the movie, like, the CGI in this movie is not really good. It's not. Maybe because there's an overabundance of it. But like the CGI in this movie didn't look well. Ronan the Accuser's in this movie for no reason. He shows up a couple of times, shows up near the end, and then just leaves. Like, there was no reason for him to be in this movie, in all honesty. They do a huge retcon in this movie about a item that we learn about in Captain America, the First Avenger, gets hugely retcon here. I thought the Skrull and the Creed stuff was okay, but really took a backseat to Captain Marvel's story. But then again, her story took a backseat to that story, so this is a really weirdly structured movie where you never felt like anything was connected, which is a really weird thing for this type of movie. Also, before anyone tells you any differently, this was not directed by a woman. This is co-directed by two different people. One happened to be a man, one happened to be a woman. So if someone tells you that this was directed by a woman, you can tell them, please check your facts, because it's not true. Alright, let me get to my next complaint about this movie. The sound design and the use of soundtrack. This movie's fucking terrible when it comes to music. First of all, I understand it's an 80s thing, or a 90s movie. Not only did they really hammer home the 90s music, it felt like it almost was attacking you. This felt Suicide Squad levels of fucking music annoyance. It didn't... To take example, let's talk about a movie who used sound and the soundtrack to help the movie. A movie like Bumblebee. Whether it was the Smiths, Never Gonna Give You Up, any of those 80s songs they played, it felt like it belonged in the movie. In Captain Marvel, the music, the soundtrack they used, and I own almost every song played in this movie, from Hole's Celebrity Skin, which it ended with, to Nirvana, Come As You Are, I'm Just a Girl, by No Doubt, Only Happy When It Rains by Garbage, Elastica's Connection. I own most of these songs, and they felt so forced into the movie without reasoning as well. It either felt like they were thrown in there to go, hey look, this is the 90s, get it, we're playing this type of music. Or it felt like, listen, the lead singer is a woman, get it, the main character is a woman, women can do this too. It felt so forced and so annoyed. I literally felt like someone was putting girl power 90s music on their playlists, and the music just went from there. It was really obnoxious to the point, like, literally I had to stop during the movie when I'm Just a Girl came on. It's like, wait, how did this movie fuck up music I like? Once again, compared to a good movie like Bumblebee. I didn't like this movie. I didn't even mind the feminist agenda in this movie. It was whatever. It was passable. By the end of the movie, I didn't even care about... She wasn't a likable character. I really disliked this movie. And it's structurally just a bad movie. Does this make me look forward to Avengers Endgame? Not really. But I don't think there's anything... This movie existed to introduce a character for the people who want to like this character. And it was a part where everyone else who has no interest in Captain Marvel, which I want to say is about 75% of the audience, to say, look, if you watch this movie long enough, we will give you something that will lead to Endgame. And was it worth it, by the way, to get that one scene that connects it to Endgame? No, not at all. Yeah, I really didn't like this movie. I thought it was boring. If I have to give this movie a score, I'm going to give it a 4.2. I didn't care about the character. I think the character didn't care about the character, and I'm not looking forward to another one of her movies. So for all the advertisement that says, for her, for a hero, whatever. This movie kind of made me really enjoy the fact that Ant-Man and the Wasp was well acted. So I'm pretty sure everyone's, or comic book fans or women or whatever, are going to disagree with this review. Whatever. I just want to see a good movie. And this definitely wasn't it. So anyway, yeah, that's my score. Be back later. I got 2 new movies to review tomorrow. Bye.